far, in dealing with the topics of marketing channels or channels of distribution, we have focused more on what the channels do and who does it and what channel members are, etc. What we're going to look at in this segment is logistics. And logistics is the actual movement of the product. And there's 4 main areas that we're going to be looking at in logistics. Okay, the first one is order processing. Now, order processing is more complicated than what it sounds, and there's a lot of software packages available to help companies become more efficient in their order processing. But an order comes in, be it by internet, fax, phone, or a salesperson bringing it in and writing it up themselves. An order comes in, it has to be entered into the database, and this information is sent to multiple places. Depending on the type of product and the circumstances, it may go to the warehouse to be pulled. It may go to production so that the product can be produced. And it also needs to go to billing so that invoice can be made up and sent and checked for accuracy. Now, the more technology we can use in our order processing and the more we can use these software packages, the more correct each of these steps will be. Back in the olden days, before a lot of this technology was available, and we had to do it all by hand and enter it and actually talk to each other and communicate the information, mistakes were made all the time. It is so easy for us as individuals to transpose numbers or make a mistake when we say something, or it's misunderstood. And so we really want to use these software packages whenever possible so the order comes in and is distributed properly. The second function we look at with logistics is inventory control. And inventory control is looking at how much product we have on hand, how much we should order, and when should we order it. Now, again, there are formulas that we use to do this. I'm not going to go over those today. But, for example, EOQ stands for Economic Order Quantity. And EOQ takes in the cost of ordering a product, storing a product, all the costs associated with holding the product, and it comes up with a figure based on your annual demand, how much you should order at one time in order to minimize your cost. So that tells you how much. The reorder point tells you when you should place an order. It says, okay, when your inventory reaches 20, we need to place an order. The reason we don't want to wait until we're at 0 is we want to make sure we have enough product in inventory to see us through that order period. Because usually if you place an order, it could take anywhere from a day to weeks for that order to be received. So we have to figure out how much do we need during that time. That lead time is what we call it, until the order is received. Another big decision we have to make in logistics is the use of warehousing. We decide to keep inventory. Where are we going to put it? What's our best choice? And there's more options than what I have listed up here, but these are the 3 basic ones, and there's different variations of these as well. A private warehouse is one that is owned and managed by the company. It's ours. Okay, we own it, we manage it, we assume all the expenses associated with it. It is expensive. Not only do you have your management cost and your labor cost, you have facility cost, equipment cost, and the cost of all the inventory you're holding, plus you have insurance cost. It is very expensive. But the benefit of having that private warehouse is you can manage it as you see fit in order to meet the demands for your customer. It's very typical that the person running a warehouse has a master's degree. And that may kind of surprise you depending on what your experience is with warehouses. But there is a lot of operations planning that goes into making these efficient, not only in terms of having product come in, being efficiently unloaded, put away, rotated, new product in back, old product in front, meeting all the laws of storage, which there are quite a few, especially when you're talking about chemicals or food products. But then what about when you have to ship product out? Loading a truck is very difficult stuff. You load it in reverse order For example, if you have 20 stops this truck's going to make, 20 orders it's going to deliver, the last stop goes in first in the truck. And you load it in reverse order so that when you open the back of the truck at your first stop, there's that order. Keep in mind, you still have to keep some products separated, food products, chemical products, etc. Plus you have to look at weight, and you have to look at weight per axle. So it does get a little complicated managing your private warehouse. Public warehouse is one where somebody else owns and manages it. Basically what you do is rent space. And that's a good option for you if you have a smaller amount of inventory that you keep, or if it's a seasonal or temporary type of arrangement. A distribution center might be private, it might be public, but what makes a distribution center unique is its focus is on speed. It's trying to get product in and out as quickly as possible. Now that quickly as possible is going to differ greatly from one industry to another. In retailing, 6 weeks is wonderful. Federal Express, 2 hours. So there's a huge difference depending on the industry. The last function we're going to look at in terms of logistic is transportation. And the main transportation methods that we think about are truck, railroad, airplane, waterways or shipping, and pipelines. And I would kind of just like to give you this graphic to look at here. I just had fun with all my little clip art. And I evaluated the different transportation methods based on some of the important criteria we have to look at. First of all is speed. How quickly can a delivery be made? Dependability is a delivery going to be on time, and is the product going to be in good condition? Capability, meaning how many different types of product can it transport? Accessibility, how many places can it get to? And frequency, how often can it make a delivery? Now don't worry about memorizing this. This is kind of giving you a visual representation. But speed, the airplane's going to be the fastest. Some of you might think a pipeline would be the fastest because it's constant, and you can make that argument. It actually moves kind of slow, but if you're worried about that, put it up front. Dependability, that might surprise you that we have pipeline up first. But think about it, if a pipeline breaks, a gas line connecting the gas provider in a home, that's a news item. That's a big deal. If a ship is late or a truck breaks down, unless there's some kind of injuries involved, that's not a news item because it's pretty common. Ships can transport anything. They have special containers now that can transport just about any product. Trucks can go anywhere where there's a semblance of a road. And frequency, as I mentioned, pipelines are going to be highest there. Ships, because they are so slow, are going to be a little bit lower. Now, it may seem to you like I'm missing one type of criteria, one that's probably very important. What is it? It's the cost. And I didn't include that purposely. When you're choosing the appropriate transportation mode for your product, you shouldn't look at cost separately. You should look at cost in conjunction with your inventory and storage options. We talked about this in a previous segment. When your transportation costs are high, storage costs are low. When your transportation costs are low, storage costs are high. We tend to have this reverse effect. So we need to look for our specific need, the quantity, the type of product, everything. What is the combined cost? And that's the cost we need to consider. Okay, so let's wrap up this segment here today. The logistical decisions need to be coordinated with the other areas of marketing strategy to ensure proper quantity and other promises are kept. By proper quantity, we mean that demand is satisfied, we don't have stockouts, we don't have obsolete products sitting on the shelf. And plus, if we've made promises to our customers, especially in the B2B market, that we will have product for them, we've got to deliver. We've got to make sure it's there on time. That's it for this segment. See you next time.